Sit with me whenever my dad was bad to me or whenever I had boy troubles at school. He never talked at me and barely ever looked at me, but all I cared about was that he was there for me. I even gave him a name. Papa. I remember this one night I was 14 and upset because Jacob, the boy I liked, didn't invite me to the Valentine's dance at our school. On top of that, my dad had gotten into one of his moods and had thrown a chair at me. When I ran into my room, I was almost relieved to see Papa crouched by the closet. "Papa!" I cried, running to him. It was stupid, I know. I was calling a literal demon Papa, but I had nobody else. He was the only one who had ever shown me any sympathy. At first he stepped back, but as I cried even harder, he looked at me in the eyes. Maybe for the first time since that night, he stepped out of the closet. Then he did something surprising. He hugged me back. As I felt his icy cold hands wrap around me, I should have been terrified. But I was filled with love. Love. For finally finding a dad who loved me. But one night as I was reading To Kill a Mockingbird for my school project, I made a mistake. Papa looked curious, so I decided to read out loud to him. I guess I made too much noise though, because David opened my door. "Lilith, what the heck is that?" He screamed and my dad came rushing up. Papa couldn't hide in time and now my entire family stared him down. He stood up, revealing his giant stature, and David began to cry, while Anthony froze in place and my dad ran off to get a vial of holy water he had kept by his bed ever since the deal was made. As I tried to run away with Papa, he stopped me and shook his head. We both knew it was too late. I cried as I hugged him goodbye, and as my dad approached us with the holy water and sprayed it on Papa, he let out a blood-curdling screech that could have been heard across the country. I watched in horror as Papa, who had stayed by my side all these years, faded to nothingness. "There," Dad said. "It can't hurt us anymore, sons," he said, embracing David and Anthony in a hug. I just laid over Papa's lifeless body, uncontrollably sobbing. We were all so caught up in our own worlds we didn't notice something come up behind us. He was large, even bigger than Papa, and had 2 large horns, a goat's head, and a large stick in his hand. Dad turned around slowly, looking to this thing as he glared down at my abuser. "Your Majesty, we had a deal, Stanley. I granted you 15 more years of life on 2 conditions. 2. It boomed, and I noticed David had wet himself. "It was a misunderstanding, sir. My daughter. You were granted 15 more years of life on the conditions that I get your daughter upon her death, and you never harm anyone ever again, do you understand?" It asked. "Yes, and I haven't, promise." The creature laughed. "First you break a promise, and now you lie? To his satanic majesty himself? Seeing you have not only harmed your daughter her entire life, but have killed one of my best minions? You have broken my trust. I'm breaking off the deal." My dad got down on his knees. "No, please, I'll do anything," he begged. Satan looked at me. "There is one way. If Lilith, your daughter, and the one you cursed, forgives you, I will set you free and you will live the rest of your life." My dad slowly turned to me and put on a smile. "Hey Lily, what about it? Look at me, I'm your dad. Your papa. I raised you. Don't you love me? I'm your dad," he said, getting more agitated as I stared at him. "It's up to you, Lilith," Satan said. I looked at Papa's body on the floor, then back to my dad. "Come on, are you really gonna believe Satan?" my dad said, pleading to me. I glared at him. "My dad is dead. You killed him," I said. "I don't forgive you." And with that, Satan dragged my dad down to the netherworld, my brothers and I hearing his screams until it was far away enough that it faded away, to where he could never hurt me again. As my brothers cried in the loss of their dad, I walked back to Papa, on the ground, and kissed his forehead. "Goodbye, Papa. Thank you."